Yo, 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 everything working? Hopefully everything's working. I don't know, I can't tell because my preview window's gone. Because reasons. So, this is actually live and someone's watching this. Feel free to say something. That'd be very handy. Alright, we got a smiley face, so it must be working. So how y'all doing today, guys? Hopefully your Monday was fairly good. As good as a Monday can be. Not sure what that really means. I think Monday snatch should be good. Jimmy Johnson going to the low side on the apron. Not sure what's going on there.
Outside, too wide. Clear outside.
Sweet out there.
Apparently we weren't really clear outside, but we were. I don't know. I'm confused.
Inside.
Things are happening.
Clear inside.
Too much glare out there. I don't know what it's like.
Top down low. Go high. Inside. Still inside.
Tired. Was at the Nashville race yesterday. No sleep and exhausted. It was fun. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch any of the NASCAR race the other day. Which, I mean, I'm not a huge NASCAR fan. I'm not gonna bash NASCAR, but it seemed like there was a lot of excitement for Nashville, which was kind of not necessarily excited. But I don't know if that's just, you know, they haven't been there for a while, and it seems like Nashville's been absolutely booming. Become more of a popular city, I guess. Yeah. They watch F1. Oh yeah. Yeah. F1 race yesterday. French GP. Fantastic. It's definitely an enjoyable race. And we really are finally getting a payoff, because we actually have two cars that are kind of sort of the same speed, and we're getting to watch two great drivers battle it out. It's like, as far as F1 is concerned, you don't get this all the time, so you better live it up and enjoy it. Sold it out crowd. Nice. You know, there is a silver lining to the whole events of the last year and a half. It seems to be that people are really excited to get back to doing stuff like that. But get back out and go to these events.
Looks like your car is towed. You'll need a tow back to pick
I'm going to go ahead and
hold the reset button and we'll
stream might get a little goofy here because I got to go ahead and change my volume because my volume is just too dang high. The amount of volume is just too damn high. Yes. I can't remember if I race on 6 or 8. Can someone explain to me why when I scroll I go from volume level 6 to volume level 8 and there is no 7? I'm going to go with 7. Yes, this is practice. This is absolutely still practice. The schedule that you see on screen at the bottom, that's when the races actually start going. You know, obviously I don't want to go ahead and start the stream right as the race starts or anything like that. Give some people some time to get in here. As well as the fact that I don't practice these things like during the week. Not that I think anyone does, but just doing the practice session is a good opportunity beforehand to make sure everything's working right. And you have your audio set up so that way you're not making your ears bleed. So unfortunately my keyboard that I got going on over here at my rig is a small form factor keyboard, so figuring out which buttons are actually the volume buttons on this thing is really goofy because it's like Control Alt F2 or something janky.
You good, 38? I think I broke my collarbone.
Someone get the AMR safety crew to that man. I just got a question for the comments here. So y'all can probably help me out really quickly. Has this track in iRacing been updated for the track surface model? Or in other words, is it going to be an entire waste of time to even consider running anywhere other than the medium-low line? This thing is really in clean air, just straight up. I can imagine this is probably going to be an affair where you're going to be holding the white line up front. It's going to be really, really tough to pass the leader. Which actually isn't necessarily a bad thing in terms of side-by-side racing.
That man didn't realize how fast you're coming out.
Because it should end up where, towards the end of the run, kind of fighting to having to keep the car down a little bit lower. That should make the high side a little bit more valuable. Shift the view. Got.
Slow car ahead. Go high.
No. Talk about changing the chassis formulas and engine Formula One. Yeah, you know, isn't that how it usually works?
Go high.
Because wasn't the end of the V8 era pretty much kind of sort of the same? Where it kind of went from Red Bull just being the dominant one to just kind of, well, being less dominant. I really just think that's just a product of team switching development to the next car. Well, then again, it seems like nobody is actually trying to develop the car this year, so... I don't know if you guys know this, but driving an Indy car on a 2-mile oval in a racing sim by yourself is really actually incredibly boring. As much as I love the 2-mile ovals, as much as I like Indy cars, driving around by yourself is just not the experience. Get a pack of cars out here, it's going to be great, but... cars look interesting. Speaking of Formula One, someone posted on Twitter based on the FIA mock-up. Yeah, but here's what I say. Take all these mock-ups with an absolute grain of salt. Because every single time there's something. You know, if you go back a few years, well, more than a few years, when they ended up with the step noses and all that, and just everybody thought, oh, well, this isn't going to play out this way, and then all of a sudden, these cars have this big old notch right in the middle of the front end. And it just looked ridiculously stupid. Or alternatively, 2014, when everybody thought, oh, hey, they're bringing back low noses again, kind of like the 90s, and instead you ended up with like, you know, I believe the term everybody agreed on was appendage on the front of every single car. So I'm still kind of worried that even though the mock-ups and what's supposed to happen look cool, that it's going to end up looking absolutely ridiculous once again, because it usually does. On the topic of just turning laps here, being boring in this thing, we got Lauren in the comment section disagreeing, because it would be fun with 2.65 liter V8 turbo power, which, yes, I will agree. Yeah, there's something about it, you know, kind of talking about it with the SRX last week and all that stuff, and how racing has so much forgotten that there is more to the experience than just cars going around in tracks, you know, wheel to wheel, you know, beating and banging. Like, that's the only idea of good racing now, when it really isn't. That's not the excitement. I mean, you go back and watch that lap record by DeFerrin, Montana, 2001, 241 some odd miles an hour average. Just watching that car by itself on the track, just screaming, hauling the flippin' mail, is so incredibly exciting. You know, just a simple qualifying session in that scenario, because it is just that ludicrous, is more exciting than all the side-by-side contrived passing BS that every series keeps trying to make. It's just like, you can't make great moments by trying to make everything great moments. And I'm not doing the old NASCAR hate thing here, even if it may sound like it. Believe me, I want multiple chassis in an IndyCar, even though I know that that's going to make the racing significantly worse. That video was seriously sped up, but it isn't. Yeah, it's ludicrous. And it's kind of sad to think that we're in 2021 and yet the fastest, most powerful race cars were 20 years ago, and everyone's just kind of agreed that we can't go faster. And I don't necessarily think we need to go faster, but at the same time, there's got to be, you know, some effort to make it exciting. It's like, you know, you watch that lap and there's no way, I don't care how much of a stick in the mud oval hater you are, where you can't go like, wow, that's something. You know, whereas the Indy qualifying, you know, it's just as insane. They're going 239 miles an hour into turn 3 flat out in these cars. You know, it's ludicrous. It's madness, but it's not nearly as exciting because it just doesn't have the excitement. It doesn't have the drama, you know? These little turbocharged V6 engines that never explode. You know, it's boring. The cars can 100% go faster now, but they can't do it safely. That's the problem. Yeah, I mean, you're not necessarily wrong. You know, it is really strange when you go back and look at the seasons throughout the years, even in the 90s, because I feel like in the 90s, you know, once you get into the late 90s at least, you know, IndyCar, Formula One, kart, I guess I should say, not IndyCar, it's an IRL. Like, you don't necessarily associate them with super dangerous series. They don't seem like the old Wild West wasteland of, like, wait a minute, we just didn't have pit road speed limits type things, and, like, you know, it seems ludicrous still in some senses because, hey, you don't have a safer barrier, you got concrete walls and you're doing 250 miles an hour in the corners, like, yes, but at the same time, you know, it's not like the cars weren't built to a high level of crash standard survivability. But you still go back and you look at all the injuries and you just kind of, I guess you kind of forget about it. It just kind of blends in. And you remember the races, who won the championship or lost the championship, and moments like that, rather than, oh hey, remember why Moreno was the super sub, and that was kind of sort of his job description, because it could be his job description in that time frame. Alrighty, boys, we got qualifying. To be fair, the late LMP ones and 2020 F1 cars were pretty quick. Oh yeah, you know, the thing is though, again, it's not just speed. You know, the 2021 F1 cars, fastest F1 cars ever, including probably even, you know, 2004 F1 cars, which was the previous peak for how long. But at the same time, it just doesn't have any drama. It's boring.
Okay, here comes your first time lap. Green flag,
That's not
green
to be
flag.
like, oh, I don't enjoy good, you know, racing these days or anything like that, because obviously I do. But probably should not have downshifted. Apparently we're 6th gear in qualifying. Job description that says be prepared to die on the job. No! I mean, Moreno was the guy who was brought in once everybody got injured, you know?
One more lap.
That's right.
You
Oh,
got
hey,
that
this
two
guy was
lap
injured in a
fuel
crash.
left.
Call him
That's
up.
enough to finish.
Get the job done well enough.
You have about 1 lap of fuel left.
But I mean, for example, the Indy cars, along the topic of speed and excitement, the current car is
All right,
basically
then
the
take a flag.
fastest IndyCar champ car basically ever, depending on the track. Now, obviously, Road America, no contest. It's missing about 150, 200 horsepower to have a chance there. But, you know, you go to a track like Watkins Glen, which I guess probably isn't fair because the good cars never raced there back in the day, but, you know, that, Laguna Seca, Mid-Ohio, you know, anything where handling is actually a factor, the current car is faster than a 90s champ car, and it's really not necessarily all that close, even though I feel like we still think the modern Indy cars are slow. Even then, they still kind of look slow because they're so dang huge and bulky for safety. Problem with the new F1 cars is they're too big and heavy. Honestly, I would say that's the problem with a lot of race cars. I mean, even you look at the, you know, LMP1 cars. I don't know what the new hypercars weigh, but remember when LMP1 back in the 90s, early 2000s was LMP 900 because the cars weighed 900 kilos. And I feel like now they've bulked up and that kind of got shifted away with, you know, adding in hybrid and everything. So these cars just get bigger. They have to get faster and more powerful to kind of compensate, get the same lap times, which is generally what these sanctioning bodies seem to kind of be looking for, because we've all kind of stabilized on pace, but it just doesn't have the same effect. They just end up going faster through the corners, which is less exciting. Like, in my opinion, I'm a weirdo. I will fully admit this, but I'm the type of person that believes that the more you add more rules, the less competitive you make it. And, for example, in F1, let's be real. Does anyone other than Mercedes or Red Bull have a chance? The answer is absolutely no, outside of just fluke occurrences. Because there's no, hey, you know what if we just, like, go ahead and do this? I mean, let's be real. You go back 35, 40 years ago, some guy was like, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and make the car out of carbon fiber. And then next thing you know, 10 years later, it's a friggin' revolution. You couldn't do that today. Make the cars out of graphene, right? The whole thing. The whole car. Alrighty, it's race time, boys. Let's go ahead and get the show on the road. Always excited to race on 2 Mile Oval and Indy fixed. It's pretty peak. And we're right smack dab in the middle in 11th place, which means that we'll get the inside line. And Adriano on the pole. We got Adriano in on pole position. We got a Adriano lockout up front. This is uncharted territory right here. This is something. Oh my. I just remembered iRacing started doing this. How about attaching a fan to the car to create downforce? Yeah, they had that, and then it got banned. Not really, but everyone just kind of agreed, hey, you know, that's not very sporting. And that was that. Farmed Indy Road at Road America so hard last week. Man, Indy cars at Road America is just a fantastic combination. I didn't partake in it just because I was kind of doing other things, but you cannot go wrong. That is one of those combinations that regardless of what sim you're playing, you're just guaranteed to have a really good time there. My favorite was the air hole in the 99 McLaren you had to cover with your hand in the cockpit. I think 2009. The good old F duct. Which that was definitely neato. Like, some guy with a McLaren had to be like, okay guys, I know this sounds crazy, but we're gonna run a tube through the whole car, going down the straightaway, full on max commitment. You can have the guy take his hand off the wheel and just cover this hole, and then boom, car goes faster. That had to be a very interesting pitch meeting. Like the lead aerodynamicist guy had to be sitting there. Steve, that's crazy. I think you're crazy. That's madness. That's not going to work, but Car goes fast. Let's do it. Yeah, the 90s McLaren was the one with the split brake pedal, the third brake pedal. Just good old... It's hard to believe, especially thinking about it today, that McLaren had that system on their car, and yet somehow a photographer got close enough and was able to actually get into the car, essentially, to take a picture.
Green flag, green flag.
And see that, oh hey, they have 3 brake pedals. That's interesting.
Outside. You're on the bottom, 3 wide. Car
All right, 3 wide.
2 wide. Stay low, there is a car on the high side. Clear high. Outside. Stay low, there is a car on the high side.
Skatey down
Clear
low.
outside. Car outside. You're on the
Oh
bottom.
yeah, we're
3 wide.
going to the back.
Hold
We're
your
going to the
line.
back.
Outside, 2 wide. Stay low. Keep low.
All right, we need to get out of the low line here. Should have been more aggressive getting out of it, but
Outside. Inside.
it's early. It's Michigan.
Still inside.
It's not worth
Still there at
getting
bottom.
carried away trying to make it.
Clear.
Just have a plan. Stick to the plan. Trust the process. That's what we do, right? Sorry, one slow.
Go high.
Up on the jacker. Just 2 clicks. Don't get too carried away. Feel it out.
Inside. Clear inside. Car outside. Outside. Clear. Car inside. Still there. Stay high. There's a car on the low side.
All right, you stop being a weenie and flat-foot it.
Still there. Clear.
This guy's running. I just love how when you add the draft and everything, it goes from easy squeezy flat out to now you're lifting, downshifting, and all this, and trying not to spin. It's an entirely different experience. So if you've never tried this out because you drive the car around by yourself in a solo session, and you're like, oh hey, this is easy. No. You got to get into an actual race.
Car inside. Still there at bottom. Still there at bottom.
3 wide closed up on me.
Stay high. You're up top, 3 wide. Still there. Inside, 2 wide.
Sail it
Still
around
there,
here.
Inside. Clear inside.
Mighty bold. Mighty bold there, guy.
Car inside. Keep high. Still there, inside.
Yeah, you're not doing that
Still
again.
there at bottom. Clear.
My goodness, this racing is nuts.
Car inside. Stay high, there's a car on the low side.
This racing
Clear.
is nuts, man.
Inside. Keep high.
Someone is going to
Clear.
get the full Dario Franchitti and end up flying on the front straight. I can see it. I can see it happening miles away. And it's going to be me.
Keep high.
And I don't like that feeling, guys. I just know we're right in the middle of it. Right in the thick of it. It's definitely...
Car inside. Still there, inside. You're in the middle, 3 wide.
Woo, buddy.
2 wide. Still there, hold your line. Stay low, there is a car on the high side.
That was dicey.
Keep low. Outside, clear.
Yeah, give me that high line. High line, the way to go. Absolutely the way to go.
You're in the top 10. Inside. Clear inside. Car inside.
Just love how you wait
Clear.
for the guy to get out of the way, and then you're like, all right, now we smash the gas.
Outside. Stay low. There is a car on the high side. Outside, clear.
Now we
Inside.
got that outside line. All right, we're good.
Still there at the bottom. Stay high. There's a car on the low side.
Push,
Keep high.
push, push. Push, push.
Stay high. There's a car on the low side. Still there, inside.
Yeah, we ended up in a full-on IRL
Still there
race
at the
here.
bottom. Clear.
We're going full-on just,
Inside.
oh no, oh no, oh no.
Keep high. Still there.
This is butt cheek clenching stuff here, guys.
Clear inside.
We are jostling, we are jumping and jiving, we are
Still inside.
doing everything here. We're trying to force three wides late in the corner.
Clear.
We got bugs splattering the windshield. That guy running appears to be a highly stylish Bobby Rahal throwback scheme. I do approve. Alright, easy does it. Easy does it.
Car inside. Stay high. Clear.
I mean, the good news is if we can just sit here, we can make good fuel mileage, right?
Car inside. Clear inside. Inside. Stay high. Still there at the bottom. Stay high. Clear.
Still don't know why this guy doesn't have more speed. Is he just running a different fuel mix setting?
Inside. Still there, inside. Still inside. Stay high.
No.
Keep high.
I hate it when people start coming up the track and you're like a lane up behind them because you're like, oh no,
Clear inside.
here comes the push.
Car inside. Still there, hold your line. Stay high.
God, this is nerve-wracking, man.
Clear.
This is not my type of racing.
Car inside. Still there.
Woo-hoo!
Clear inside.
Woo-hoo! 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 Ooh, we about died. We just about died there, guys.
Stay low. There is a car on the high side. Keep low.
All right, give me that slipstream. Give me that slipstream.
Keep low. Stay low.
Okay,
There's a car on the
bold,
high side. Clear
bold move there, guy.
Car outside. Stay low.
That's a 0x at 220. Nice.
Go low, clear high.
Just madman. What a mad lad. My goodness.
Outside. Still there, clear.
Back out, get the eye line. Just think you end up losing so much speed on the low line trying to make a pass. And if you move your feet, you lose your seat.
Car inside. Still inside.
And plus, I feel more confident on the high
Hold your
line.
line.
There's less room to travel before you hit the wall.
Clear. Car inside. Still there, inside.
I feel like we should be doing fuel calculations here.
Keep high. Clear inside.
Should be doing fuel calculations here. Keep it in the wall, keep it in the wall, keep it in the wall. All right, we're good, we're good. Probably gonna stay green.
Car inside.
This is iRacing, the only way you get caution is pretty much, no, 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 no! Woo! No, no, woo!
Yellow flag. Line up, single file. Pit road is closed right now. Left up, no. Car by. After 16, car.
Undies have been soiled.
Catch up, 11, car.
Okay, what?
Catch
All
up,
right, I
20,
full on
car.
turned into a chimpanzee. I full on.
Catch up, 11.
Oh my
car.
goodness, that was spicy. That was 22 laps of just spicy.
Pit road's
Like,
open.
next time, can we just lay off the hot sauce just a little bit? This is maybe not go so hard next time. Just, take it easy. Let's get to like lap 40, 45. Then we can go crazy. All right, lap 22 is we're gonna make a pit stop. 39 laps, that's 78 miles. 78 divided by 4. What is 78 divided by 4? Well, 78 divided by 2 would be 39. So divided by 4 would be 18 and a half? 19 and a half. So this is right on the edge, guys. This is full on, right on the edge
We're done. Get going.
of if you can make it. And that's assuming 4 miles per gallon, which is borderline
In single file.
a little bit lower than what you'll actually end up getting. You should be getting closer to about 4.5-ish, but it's still going to be really close. Because obviously when you're in the draft, when you're in the slipstream, you're lifting out of the throttle, you're going part throttle down the straightaway just because there's nowhere for you to go, so it's kind of automatic fuel saving. But that does make me wonder if maybe these guys at the front will be less happy to lead and hold that low line. Alright, let's just try and maybe make a 4.21 is the fuel number. Alrighty, good to know. You guys have done much better math than I have. Yeah, I think we'll be able to make it from where we are, but the guys up front, I think, might be in a bit of a different scenario if they're going to run up front. Because if you lift out, you're not going to be up front. But if you stay up front, you might be too short.
One to go, next time by.
I mean, when you're in that position running essentially flat out, it's really hard to make fuel.
Catch about 20, car.
Go back down on the weight jacker, down to 0. And yeah, of course, this is assuming no other cautions. But this is the strength of field race, which that's when all the best drivers come out, if you're unfamiliar with iRacing, which generally means that the races are a little bit cleaner. That's partly why the absolute insanity that we had going on at the first section here. Very intense, but at least you know that you're probably racing with people that either race the car on a regular basis or alternatively aren't entirely brain dead slugs who just herder arrow push right into the side of you. Although then again, we did have a 0x in the middle of 3 and 4. Some guy wanted to get really, really close. Hey, it worked out. We all survived, right? He's in the fence, we're not. Call that a win.
About to go green, stay focused.
Alrighty, 36 to go at the stripe. We're in 8th place.
Post car is off, time to do your job.
Expect this restart to be
Green
absolute
flag, green
shenanigans.
flag. You're in the top 10.
Because now that we've done a stint, I think people are going to realize that the best way to go is the high line, or alternatively, just go mad on the low line when you have fresh tires. An arrow push doesn't really matter. But I want the high line. Then he just dirty airs me right in the face.
Still inside. Still there at the bottom. Clear inside.
It's like, where did half the cars go, guys? Where did half the cars go?
Go low.
No.
The yellow flag is out. Line up, single file.
All right, sketchy. Alrighty,
Catch
we're
about 12. Car, catch
we are
about
under
12.
control.
Car.
They're under control. And that guy just disappeared.
Left up 20.
Somewhere.
Carbide. You had the position when the yellow flag came out.
Somewhere out here. Having some network connection issues here. Alrighty. That's a few more cars out of the race. We're just moving on up the order. Just claiming them freebies.
Pit road's open. Catch about 20. Car.
I don't know, man. Apparently, I guess everyone's just extra downforce goes burr, you know, type thing. Yeah, what? You're not gonna pick, guy, okay? You're fooling nobody. I just love how people in iRacing always do that. No matter how inappropriate the situation, you can 100% be assured someone in iRacing will do the fake pit. It's like almost a mandatory affair. Go ahead and unmute chat here, that we can hear people yelling.
Sorry, Thomas.
Fuel maps. You know, honestly, I don't really play around with fuel maps much at all, like ever, and I will fully admit that, but the way things work in iRacing, I would not be surprised if...
Yeah, you know.
if field maps are largely useless and you're better off simply doing it yourself. Because, for example, in iRacing, short shifting doesn't really do anything. You know, revs is kind of sort of a factor, but the big thing is just simply throttle position beyond anything else. And that's why running in 6th gear just doesn't actually get you substantially better fuel mileage, if at all, because you're having to keep more throttle in the car. Oh my goodness. We have got Adriano in the lead, and I don't know how I feel about this. I really do not know how I feel about this.
1 lap to green.
And I'm just now taking a look at the people that are around me and seeing if I've raced them before, who they are. And this guy's just going to chill out and he's just going to leave his car there, you know. Because Indy fixed, gonna Indy fixed. One thing I will say, I'm pretty impressed on that last lap. 17.46 mpg out of a 750 horsepower engine. Granted, those are highway miles, but I feel like that does favor comparably to a lot of other, you know, engines out there. You know, streetcar engines. You gonna get 17.5 mpg out of a Hellcat? Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know. What does the Hellcat get for fuel mileage? Oh, speaking of Hellcats, pulled up the stoplight today. Driving home from work. Some guy is in all black Challenger red eye. I'm like, ooh, that's cool.
Get ready,
And then I saw
green.
something in my rearview mirror. Some guy had a Ford Fusion, and the bottom of the like air dam front lip, he had it painted yellow, which just made me laugh because that's what all the Dodge guys
Green,
are
green,
doing.
green. You're in 4th position.
Okay. They're leaving the protective dealer splitter protection thing on there because it looks cool. I'm just like, I wonder if he knows, or if I'm the only guy who's just like, I see this.
Outside. Clear outside.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. I can already see it now. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh wait, we're doing exactly what of course we're doing, because we do the same thing every flippin' week, and we get the same result every week. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why.
Coming up on halfway here.
Indy fixed, gonna Indy fix, man. It is gonna Indy
Left up,
fix.
16, car by.
An absolute clown restart. Backing the whole field up excessively to the point where the green flag was out and we still weren't going. And if you want to know why, if you're unfamiliar with the way things work, you have to pass to the right before start-finish line because NASCAR and therefore iRacing
Pit
rules.
road is now open.
So even though very clearly you could just, you know, simply go left and pass everybody, you can't actually do that without getting a black flag. That's why you have to just basically wait, and that's why everyone sits on the wall coming to the green flag. Everyone is doing their best, Jimmy Johnson. You know, I will say, I think Jimmy Johnson could probably handle not self-spinning an IndyCar on an oval. Like, I think he would do better on an oval. And I don't just say that because, you know, NASCAR, but I say that because, you know, an oval is a lot easier and simpler, straightforward to learn. I mean, worst comes worse, he can't be any worse on an oval than Jack Hawksworth. Which, I'm just going to say this. The 2 races I went to with Jack Hawksworth in it, I think 2 races, out at Iowa Speedway. I mean, the guy looked like the worst oval driver I've ever seen, just totally not anywhere close to in his depth. And it's like, that's fine. I mean, I'm not hating on the guy or anything. I mean, he's a good road racer, but if it's not something you do, it's definitely foreign territory. But you know, the good thing is, with this being the strength of field race, I mean, if we can keep this together, get a good result, points-wise, not that I care, but, you know, points-wise, it wouldn't be bad. Starting off with a 5th place last week. Is it possible to do 2 consecutive laps on the green? Yeah, it was very possible. I mean, at the start, the racing was absolutely knuck and futz. And we went 20 laps just fine until I think someone just got a little bit too carried away with the weight jacker and looped it in the high line. But other than that, things were going relatively well.
1 to go, next time by.
That restart was just, you know, usual culprits doing the usual culprit thing, and we're playing Draft Snake on lap 32. Like, why are we playing Draft Snake on lap 32? Doesn't make sense. Especially when you know that in this series there is a combination of drivers that have low ping and a combination of drivers that have fairly high ping. You know, these Brazilian guys have 130, 140 ping just because the server is like a really far friggin' away, and you're racing a car that's really fast. Guess what? You're going to have the most problems with netcode in this car. So maybe don't race like a moron, and you won't have problems. I don't know. I need to cool it, though. I need to cool it. Generally, I don't like feeling like I'm picking on other drivers. I feel like I'm picking on other drivers here, and I don't like it because that's not nice, and I shouldn't do it, but sorry. I've just seen the same things for years on end in this series, and people never learn. Hopefully, if you're watching this stream or if you've watched my other Indy Fix videos, you probably have learned, because it's become apparent that playing that game often doesn't work out well.
Going green.
But your mileage may vary. So let's see what we get on the restart here.
The pace car is off. Be ready.
There we go. Nice and smooth. The way it's supposed to be done. And look at that. The leader even got a nice, healthy jump on the field. And there's no 82 car pileup behind me. It's a nice, smooth restart. The type of restart we can all envy.
The next car's the leader.
It's like, yeah, I understand the rush to get to the lead because it can be difficult to pass once things kind of wear in, because the racing kind of stagnates. The high line is less effective when you don't have someone to draft off of. Draft Snake on lap 30 is ridiculous. Always going to be. Like, honestly, right now at this point, I'd be perfectly happy with just chilling and seeing where things play out. Don't need to be too aggressive. Don't need to get carried away. Maybe try to save our tires a little bit if we possibly can.
Car inside.
And push up and just
Still
do
there,
terrible.
inside. Still there. Clear inside.
Actually, it's looking like it's not going to be that difficult to pass the leader. Okay, guy.
Outside, clear high.
Just, jeez. Like, why be so aggressive in taking the line? There's just way high of a likelihood that you just get screwed over by netcode, and then you're done. Like, for what? So you get third position on 20 laps to go on a track where clearly passing is very doable? I don't know. Can't relate to the real world. I always just think, just whenever I'm racing, one of the thoughts that's always in my back of my head is just, what would Scott Dixon do? And there's a reason why the guy just wins championships like nobody's business. Always runs a great race, every single time. You don't see him doing stupid stuff like bumping cars in the middle of turn 2.
Outside.
Like, you don't,
They want you in
there's
single file.
no reason.
Closed, pit road is
There's
closed.
literally no reason. Oh, God.
Catch up, hey, car.
Oh, goodness. There's no reason at all. And guess what? Now that guy's going to be pissed off, which means that we're going to have another wreck when that guy gets to around that guy, either later on this race or next week. He's going to remember that, and they're going to race one another like jackwagons, and then we're going to have another yellow just because we have to drive through the car. It's like, guys, I'm totally losing it here. I'm totally losing it. We're on full tilt, all right?
Pit road's open.
That's when you just don't lift. I mean, yeah, they're... See, the thing is, it's the old, you can be right and be dead, or you can live on to fight another day thing. And I would rather live on to fight another day because I realize that if the car is a smoldering heap on lap 40, I can't win the race on lap 60. So therefore, being right really doesn't mean much. Yeah, ooh, you faked me out. Looks like we got about 4 or 5, 6 cars coming down pit road, kind of mixed throughout the field. Should probably upshift. Should get map 8. Map 8, boys. It's like, there's no need to be in rush. Like, yeah, it's racing and you want to be in front of the other guy, but like you don't get any bonus points for leading lap 43. You get bonus points for leading lap 60. You just need to... Whoa! Yeah, when you accumulate 10 shaking fists, you're forced into a bright pink livery. I don't know, I think it'd be pretty interesting if these racing sims had like a driver review feature. Because on one hand, that would just be totally open for manipulation, and it would not be a good thing. But on the other hand, I mean, I've raced the Indy car here in iRacing for a long while, and I know some of the people that are racing here based on their racing, you know. And it's just like, guys, we do the same thing every single week for 5 years plus. We shouldn't be having these problems. Like, we should all be racing 6 wide because this isn't incredibly difficult. It's relatively straightforward as long as you actually have respect for your competitors out there and don't drive like a dick. I think there was a video about driving like a dick.
One to go, next time by.
Who remembers that one? And one question I do want to ask real quick, is pedal cam still working? just got to ask. Like, I'm doing a dance. So I've been having issues with it. If you've joined any of the streams, like it randomly dies. But I went into Windows and changed the USB power management settings again, and I found that they were all set to allow the USB or the computer to turn off the USB hub or whatever to save power, which I have my power management settings set to high performance and just like give me all of the power, because why would I want to save electricity? Like, what is this? Come on. And then sure enough, when I reboot the computer, it comes back. But I guess if I just have to make it a routine to change that setting every single time I reboot because it just doesn't stick, then so be it. Move your feet. It's frozen. Dead? Dead? Alright. Think it's that one? Sorry, guys. Apparently Pedal Camp just doesn't like me talking about it. I guess maybe that's the thing. Alrighty. 17 to go at the strap. We're in third place.
Post car is off. Time to do your job.
One guy who's racing a bit more frisky than I particularly care for.
Green flag.
Alan,
Back in third. Keep hustling.
I've never really particularly had any issues with throughout the years, so. Maybe just chill here. Wait for Golf Guy to do Golf Guy things.
Inside.
And just
clear.
Take the lead.
The next car's the leader.
There's so few cars out here now.
Still inside. Clear inside.
It's just like from the start of the race and the shenanigans that was surprisingly ending up in a early 2000s IRL race
car inside
versus
still there, hold your line. Clear
now
inside.
There's far fewer cars.
Car inside. Stay high.
Yeah, you keep running that low
Clear
line.
Inside.
You're just gonna burn your stuff up. Chop him down a little bit. It's my bad.
The next car's the leader.
It's kind of funny though. I really like cars that reward patience, which is definitely not surprising. But the cars I race tend to be.
Car inside.
Why, guy? Why? Tend to be the type of cars that bring drivers that are just incredibly impatient, such as, you know, if you're going to block that move off into one, block the freaking move off. Don't wait until you're at the corner entry to decide, oh, hey, I'm going to go ahead and run the high line. Nope. Like, don't be a clown.
Clear.
Literally, absolutely no need for it.
Still there at bottom. Clear.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Here we go. It's about to get real. And I don't mean that in a good way.
Clear. Car inside. Clear inside.
We might just want to chill back here. We might want to just chill back here. Wait to inherit the win.
Stay high. Clear inside.
See, like, I don't have a problem with that one there, because that's just, I'm on the high line kind of lurking there.
Inside.
Essentially looking to force a 3 wide really late.
Inside.
Him coming up into my lane there is my problem, because that's...
You're back in fourth
I'm the one
position.
causing the dangerous situation there, kind of working. there.
Great job. 10 to go.
This guy, grade A jackass. Grade A jackass.
Inside.
Dude, you are driving like a moron.
Still inside.
You can't block like that, man. You're gonna kill us all.
I was still clear.
Clear inside.
Like you can't move. You can't move in reaction to the guy behind you. That's how you end up. Oh, hey, there's a guy coming with 20 miles an hour more speed. I better get in front of him because that will go well.
Keep high. The next car's the leader. Still there, inside. Clear.
Hi guys. Have you just joined this stream and you've never watched any of my sim racing stuff before? I'm a really calm guy. Kind of takes a lot to trip my trigger, but racing like morons for no reason at all really
Back in third. Keep hustling.
really gets me going. Especially when there's literally no upside. There's no benefit. Especially when the guy has already wrecked another car.
The yellow flag is out. They want you in single file. Closed. Pit road is closed.
Thomas, I'm sorry, man. I lost my cool, but at the same time, you can't be moving into the line of a car that's coming with that much more speed. I should not be jumping out of the throttle because you jump into my lane on the straightaway at the last minute.
No, Matt, I don't feel that way. I was way clear of you. Even if you are faster, you cannot expect me to just lift when there's so much room.
You know, when you move into the line,
Hey Gaisler, if you close the door like that, do you know what happened?
Pit road is now
Just-
open.
No, Matt, you see, the next lap, I was not clear, and you passed me.
this guy.
But before,
Just so you know, a block is defined as a reactionary move to a car behind you, as well as impeding the progress of the car behind you. You can defend, but you're full-on blocking, which is an entirely different thing. And that's why you've already wrecked other cars.
If you like run like property like no brain, go Gaisler, no problem for me. But if you close to the door again,
You can't flip and race
you
like
know
that.
what happened.
Like, and I guarantee you,
come on, Rick.
just like that guy's response, just full on zero, just nothing. He doesn't understand it at all, even though it's very clear when cars are jumping out of the throttle in middle of the straight because you decide to pull in front of them randomly when they're doing 15 miles an hour faster down the straight. That's a block. Freaking. I mean, honestly, I have not been this fired up since that You Drive Like a Dick video with the IndyCar at Iowa with good old CCM, who would pull the same exact dipstick stuff. Haven't seen that guy in a while. I haven't. Like, you can't just keep making moves, because if you keep making moves, that's full-on blocking, and that's a recipe for disaster. If you put any other driver in here besides perhaps me, there's probably a wreck there, because a lot of drivers will not lift. I'm Mr. Patience. I will lift when the situation is right. 5 laps to go, I'm not lifting, but there, it's just like, come on. This is not, we should not be having these problems, because it's just simple, basic racing.
One lap
God, I am way too fired
You
up
got
now.
5 laps to go.
I'm way too fired up. Like, I just have zero tolerance on that, man. Because there's really no need to. There's no reason to. You know, if you want to go ahead and defend the high line, defend the high line. If you want to defend the low line, defend the low line. If you want to run the middle and have options to kind of shade and cover, go for it. Do the Pruitt fade. At least that's not really full-on blocking. That's a gray area of like, okay, you know, you kind of shifted the car 6 inches one way or the other to cover off both lanes. That's just good positioning. But full-on weaving down the straightaway, no need. No need at all. So we're going to be coming to take the green flag, 4 laps to go. I think there's probably a good likelihood that this guy behind us is just going to full-on wreck us, because now that we've yelled at him over the chat, I have just inevitably made things worse for myself, which I fully recognize, but it is what it is. He's been racing like that the whole race. Something had to be said. So R.I.P. me. But 4 laps to go.
Get ready, going green.
3rd place. It's gonna be spicy.
The pace car is off, be ready. Green, green, green.
That Jacker is just gonna get loose. Bang gears.
The next car's the leader.
Jacker. We're going to need to run good laps here. Let's close back in. Be there at the right time.
The next car's the leader.
So now it's going to be a matter of timing it. That Jacker a little bit, up to 5.
You've got 2 laps to go.
2 to go. Watch the skate, watch the skate. +7. Doable.
Last lap. Outside.
Ah!
Stay low. There is a car on the high side. Clear.
Bad
outside
idea.
if you want it.
It's a bad idea. Bonehead move. Bonehead move.
Inside. Stay high with the car on the low side.
That was an absolute bonehead move. I should not have gone for that.
Inside. You're in the middle.
I should not have gone for that move. That was stupid. That was just a bonehead idea.
Alright, there's the checkered flag.
Oh man, that was a
Very good
bonehead
job.
move. That was a big time bonehead move. Yeah, sorry for that contact on that last lap. That was just a bad idea on my part. Hey guys, when you screw up or you do something stupid, you can go ahead and say it. You can go ahead and say, I'm sorry. Won't hurt you. Might hurt the ego a little bit, but... My question is this going to be my first career protest? Because I feel like it could be my first career protest. that's all I can say. But you know what? 4th position, 0x from 11th. I mean, it easily could have been better than that. I don't know if I would have won, obviously, because the way these races play out is crapshoot there at the end. But just forcing that move there at the end, just because even and here, let me go ahead and explain this to you guys. If maybe you're not familiar with racing like this, or you're not familiar with iRacing, or alternatively you want to learn why, even though it looks like this move was there and available, and like, okay, we might be able to go through the middle, and I'm a guy who I'm more than willing to go through the middle, despite me being a relatively passive guy in terms of my driving and not being a super aggressive guy. There are times I will full send it. And going through the middle is not something I shy away from. But what's going to end up happening, this guy at the bottom, he ain't going to run that bottom groove. He's not expected to run that very bottom groove, right at the yellow line, essentially, in the corner. He's going to be running a lower line, but he's not going to be running the lowest line. And he's the car in the front, so essentially in the middle I have to kind of key off of where his car is positioned. This guy at the top, he has to key off of where my car is positioned. Well, this middle groove has no speed in it. You either want to be at the bottom taking the shortest way around, or up at the top with the car absolutely wound up and flying down the straightaway, getting that draft to make your move down to the inside, or fling it around the outside if the guy goes low. This middle line, you don't get the speed, you don't get the short distance, you just get stuck in the middle. And that's why this was an incredibly dumb move. It just... Matt, I have to admit that was a bit close in turn 2. You know what? At least he said it. Yeah, because you might look at this, and honestly, again, I'm absolutely 100% not blaming Alan here, because I've done enough racing with him, and have never had a problem. He's one of the guys that has experience in this car, and actually races like he's using his brain. But you might look at it and say, oh, hey, he kind of shaded towards the middle. At the end of the day, that move is such a low percentage move to actually complete a pass anyways. There is no reason to go for it. Totally stupid boneheaded stuff. Oh, goodness. Hey, third place, strength of field race. We should scoop up some more quality points after 5th place last week at Texas. So if we just decide to start caring about the championship in this thing, which I've literally have never cared about the championship in iRacing, because all it is a freaking PDF. There's that going on. Let's see here. Yep, netcode. Netcode and the goofiest damage model ever. Look at the guy's rear wing. How did his rear wing get hit when there's nothing on the car short of the aero screen and roll hoop that is high as the rear wing? Like his wing couldn't damage like that. So he just got bumped and dead. He caught a case of the dead. Alright, and then let's see here. Was this... I'm trying to go through this real quick because I do want to make the Formula V race. Just because the time frames. Alright, we're... Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Guys, what are you doing? Like, okay. This guy knows he's going to be like, oh, well, that guy came down into me. And yeah, he kind of did come down into him, but you can't expect the driver to drive literally perfectly, entirely straight as an arrow and not deviate an inch. Not to mention, even if you get alongside, where are you going to go? Like, let's say these two guys are racing side by side. You're not going to hold the car that low without lifting out of it seriously to the point where someone's just going to fly around both of you guys on the high side and just laugh all the way to the bank. It's shenanigans, man. It is shenanigans. I'm guessing this guy's probably in the next wreck, which is why I just went straight to him. buddy. I mean, that's just two guys running into another. Really no need for that at all. You don't get bonus points for running closer to one another, just so you guys know. Guys, what do you think caused this one? What do you think caused this one, guys? The car spinning in the middle of the corner. That would be that one. Slowing these things down when you're going fast is not a solid affair. I think this one was... Is that just a swervy off of 2? Oh, this is the guy with the broken rear wing. He just lost it. Probably because his rear wing is broken. Oh boy, I need... Alright, we're going to go ahead and enjoy a Formula V race. I feel like I need a smoke, and I don't smoke at all. I find it very repugnant, but I feel after that race, after that one, this is like full on. Oh boy. Alrighty, let's see. I'm also going to try and get pedal cam back up and running for you guys, especially now that we're in the V and there's actual footwork going on. Do we got the juice? Alrighty, just one moment here. I'm gonna go ahead and jump out and try and fix my stuff. Alrighty. Just gotta unplug it and replug it in like every 15 minutes. That totally works for racing sims, right? Totally works. How much do we have to give him to see his face? $1 million. After taxes. Just to make that clear. That includes federal and state. The wing got depressed, and he started spinning. Ha! That's a joke right there. Alrighty. Let's see here. Alrighty, Formula V, Oldham Park Fosters. Ran this in week 13. This is one of those combinations that is just a buckload of fun, even if it is kind of ridiculous. And I don't mean like ridiculous and unrealistic or anything. I mean ridiculous and just it's kind of like almost a super speedway. Hopefully the V's are much more relaxing. I don't think I could do another race like that. don't think I can do another race like that. Although we're going to try and do that later on tonight. Who's that Jacob guy that just joined the server? Name sounds familiar. So it's an all oval stream today. Yeah, basically. Only this is a right-hand oval. Because, you know, over in England, they drive on the right side. So, just switch the direction of the course around. Feedback is not the same. I will say I love this corner in this car because stuff like that, it's so easy to over-rotate the car or under-rotate the car and push wide. But you can really get the car rotated in there and actually use the tires as if they were kind of tires and lean on them a bit. At least a bit more than usual in iRacing. Which is fun. I should also mention that the Weekend Warriors League
Come on by, I'm still learning.
is going to be racing here at this layout
Yeah, I'm still learning the track.
this weekend, so hopefully the start goes smoother in that race and we don't lose a large chunk of the field in the first lap. This is not one of those tracks where you put a big grid on it, especially in a car like this. It'd just be mental. As long as everyone's just kind of working on the same goal of keeping the car in one piece and surviving and not chucking blocks. See how we were talking about a certain Mr. CCM. His last login was 2018.
Just gave out there.
Well, means either he got banned or he ended up with an alternate account. Maybe that was his alternate account. Oh man, when you can end up seeing through the deception based upon the way someone races, that moment. I hear that Jacob guy. He is slow. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he'll end up in the same split, unless he's not racing. Alrighty. Zen. Meditation. I'm gonna call over for my dog here. Oh yeah. You know what? You know why real racing is inferior to sim racing? Because in real racing, you can't just go ahead and summon a dog to come to your cockpit so you can give it scritches. You can't do that in a real race car. You can do that in a simulated one, though. There we go. All right, we have loaded up on Floofy Dog. We have de-stressed and calmed down. Oh hey, that Jacob guy is in our split. That's good to see. I don't think I've ever raced with him. I just know him as the Targa Virginia guy. because back before the Nürburgring, there was an event called the Targa Virginia, which was the VIR like grand configuration with all of the corners in the world thrown into it. And it was one of the bigger events within iRacing. So I don't even think at the time they were really doing the special event stuff.
Left side. Still there, hold your line. Keep to the right. Clear. Car right.
And I'm also just kidding. It's that GP Labs dude.
Still there, hold your line.
Might have heard of him.
Still there, hold your line. You got a slow car on the right. Still there, clear on the right. Car on your
Banana
left.
peel.
Clear.
Full VIR is fantastic. Yes, full VIR is fantastic, and I am pleased to say I am a fan of VIR. There is a reason why Automobilista 1 and 2 has VIR in it, because I may have stacked the deck and essentially told Riza, hey, if you ain't gonna make Surfer's Paradise and you're allowing us to vote, and the Nürburgring is obviously out of the question for reasons at the time, you're gonna make VIR, and I will make all of these people vote for VIR. And that's how the community vote for the track for Automobilista 1, which is where it started, how that went down. So if you love VIR and you enjoy playing those games, you're welcome. If you hate VIR and you enjoy playing those games and you wish they made something else, I apologize. But I don't care, because VIR is awesome. I mean, let's be real, VIR over in Automobilista 2, Formula truck, you're just driving a big old semi around a track that is just unnecessarily tight, technical, and those things, it's just brilliant. So give it a go.
Okay, here comes your first time lap.
Now, turn 1's interesting here because I feel like I always get it wrong. When I drive in deeper, like I want to, the thing just turns into a boat on corner exit. And when I try and not drive in deeper, I just end up going slow in general, so. What is the magic secret? Need to know the secret sauce. Just love to get a little rotation in there. Probably lifted too much. You know, I was racing the Spec Racer last night, and jumping into this car after driving the Spec Racer is just... You know, I did the league race this weekend, and the car was slow. The car feels slow, the Formula V here. But now this thing just feels super, super slow. And it's not just because, oh, hey, we just came from racing an Indy car at 220, 230 miles an hour. Like, no, it just... So straightforward to drive, this thing. That was an even bigger lift that time. Yeah, but on the topic of the Spec Racer, I will have a video with the Spec Racer kind of talking about the updates, because, you know, it's one of my favorite cars in iRacing, so when it gets a massive, entirely new version, essentially, like, I got to talk about it.
Checkered flag, checkered flag.
Man, that Jacob guy is slow, man. 12-2. Like, come on. What's that? Grandma could drive faster than that. Well, actually, she couldn't. It's because she can't drive at all. Try not to make this joke dark, but you know what I mean. I'm a dark person, alright? It is what it is. I'm here for a long time, here for a good time. That's the same. I wanted the cheap seats for the starts, says one Mr. GP Laps. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Although, I will say, Rocco, Andrew, I haven't raced with Polo there, assuming I didn't just totally butcher his name because American. I haven't raced it with him on a road course, but I've raced with him in Indy Fixed, and he's not really a problem. He's not one of the crazies that has no brain. I don't know about this Andy guy. Hopefully we'll see. Hopefully it's a good, clean, quality race, and we end up with a 12-car battle for the win on the last lap, because the way these things race, you could have a 12-car battle for the win on the last lap. Meanwhile, the people on the iRacing forums are like, the races are too short. It's like, yeah, literally all you gotta do, guys, is just stay behind the car in front of you and just draft all race, and then you will end up in a battle for the win. Like, that's all you gotta do. Just don't take yourself out of the race. Just chill, wait for the very high percentage moves, and you're good to go. Easy squeezy. How to be semi-successful in the Formula V. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's see here. For anyone looking for a fantastic corner name, go to VIR's wiki page and look at the Grand West course map at turn 14. I assume that's the tight son of a biscuit corner off of the back straight that has a less friendly name than son of a biscuit, but basically the same name. And yeah, I can confirm that corner is totally labeled as is, because why is it so tight? Why is that corner so tight? It's like, why did they randomly decide to put the freaking Long Beach hairpin right in the middle of the lap? Like, you need all of the steering lock in the world. It's crazy. Alrighty, so y'all know how these races work by now. 12 minutes. It's a total draft fest. Just keep in it and make sure we finish ahead of car number 7. So just stay calm. Stay cool, calm, and collected. Get the 3 C's going on. We should have a blast. Pedal cam dead. Ah! Alrighty.
Green flag, green flag.
No!
Car right. Still there.
No! What are you doing? Guy!
Car right. Clear.
Sorry about that, man.
He missed a gear. In case that wasn't immediately clear, he just missed a gear. and then we were boxed in, and I could see it because it was happening right in front of me, but the guy behind me couldn't because you can't see through cars, obviously, and he's got more speed because he hasn't seen it happen. So we had a fantastic start, absolutely nailed, and then it went all belly up, and then we just got RKO'd out of nowhere in turn 1 just to go ahead and seal the deal. Now we got that GP laps guy in front of us again. It is what it is. Yeah, at least something like that happens. It's clear why it happened, and I've missed gears. Everyone's missed gears. You know, everyone's been there. It's part of the experience. Yeah, that's a lot less infuriating than people just blocking in Indy cars. I think we're pretty much just going to have to hope to get this pack here, unless these guys in 5th on back start racing with one another and really gum up the works, which is possible. Possible. It's like possible and plausible at the same time. It's possible. But on a track like this where you are doing so much speed the whole lap, it's really hard to gain really big time. And that guy just alt F forward. Well, 7-9. Oh, we got smoke. We got big smoke going on up there.
Car stop on the right.
Avoid the cone. Let's see here. Trying to figure out who's who. Who's where. Just move to the bottom here because we don't really need to see who's behind us because we are last. I'm just going to write this up as Jacob being a stream hero here. Starting to get a little extra spicy. Slow everybody down. It's 4th gear corner, guy. 4th gear corner.
Right
It's
side.
4th gear corner. You take that corner in
Still
4th
there.
gear, not 3rd. Don't need to drop down.
Keep to the left. Clear.
You also don't need to crowd people. How much further left can I get? I just don't know, man. Why am I braking? Full on send it. Got a full on send it. Hopefully these guys start racing up ahead. Like catastrophically. We need to gain some more spots. I don't know, I feel like I need to, because I feel like with my channel and all that, the best place for me in terms of like what I do is probably like the whole don't be an idiot thing. And I feel like moments like that, because it's just like, you know, the guy's racing hard, he's trying his best, he didn't do anything that guy didn't do anything wrong at all that in a real world situation or a land situation, he would have been perfectly fine. That was just good, hard, fantastic, you know, wheel-to-wheel action. That's what you want to see. But in the online environment, you're going to end up getting yourself punted or punting the other guy just because you're expecting just the internet to work like magic. Got some flexing going on here. Is that what we got going on? That's the first challenge. Good. Actually, did a spec racer race last night. Qualified on pole by 1.4 seconds. Looped it in turn 3 like a boss.
Car on your left. Stay on the right. Still there. Still there. Hold your line.
No. He's got a cheater motor. He's got a cheater motor.
Clear
Not
on
fair.
the left.
Cheater motor. You got a cheater motor in that thing?
Car right. Still there. Hold your line. Clear. Right side. Still there. Hold your line.
Meanwhile, this guy up the road here, he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna
Okay,
no
on the
fun out
left.
here.
Stay on the left. Clear on the right.
Hey guys, look at that. You can race side by side for a large portion of the lap here, and you don't have to be like right on top of one another. Those guys have kind of come back a little bit, even with me and Jacob duking it out there a bit. But I'm guessing, yeah, 4 minutes left. Not a lot of time. I don't know if we're going to be able to catch the guy in front here. Corner's so much fun in this car, though. I mean, we might have gained a little bit there on him that lap, but take the 1X. We're up to 9 incident points. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but yikes. Sit on the inside of line here.
Car right.
Yeah, the long way around.
Stay
Well,
on
that
the
becomes a
left.
short way around.
Still there. Clear.
I see you lurking back there. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to pass me. He's trying to stream snipe me, I believe they call that. Although, if you're gonna go stream sniping, might I suggest you actually like snipe someone who's worth stream sniping? Squidward, not me. I don't know, we're catching these guys. Only 2 laps left, so there's that. Let's get a chip. And I'm just gonna say this out loud for my own remembrance. Looking at that car in my rearview mirror has given me an awesome idea.
White flag, white flag.
To paint a AAR Eagle style Champ car Formula V. Totally doing it. Totally doing it now. Has to be done now. That would look absolutely sick. Alrighty. We're going to end up with a 3-car furball here. And it's all going to end in tears. It's kind of ended in tears for that guy. We're going to get the slipstream. We'll be past him. It's only defense at this stage would be to drive like a total loon.
Still there, hold your line. Still there, hold your line. Car stopped ahead. Clear on the left.
All I heard was freebies ahead. Freebies ahead.
Car right.
Sorry about that, fellas.
Stay on the left.
Alright.
Stay on the left. Keep to the left.
Who's got the ponies?
Still there, hold your line. Slow car ahead.
I was trying to make room for you for the
Alright,
3
there's
wide.
the checkered flag.
That was good.
Good job. Very good job.
Well, we brought it home 7. Didn't go well. Didn't go well at all. It went really quite poorly, but we did have fun. That's just a ball of like bad things. It's one of those seconds before disaster images where you just look at this and you figure any other time than last lap here, there's a 0.0% chance. We gotta.
Yeah, I messed up the start. I missed third gear.
Oh, he was the guy that. Yeah. By the way, if you're watching this stream, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the tip that I have for launching this car, which, as you could see, worked out actually pretty well. This is like one of the very few cars I actually have any sort of idea how to actually launch here in iRacing. You want to put it at like 3,500 RPM and then just dump the clutch. Every single time, you'll just come ripping off that line. I see what happened. Yeah, he just. So this guy, Rocco over here, he just. I guess you saw him. I thought I got run over from behind. Well, I guess I did, but I suppose from his position, he would have no way of knowing. He wouldn't be able to see it anyway, so just kind of got boxed up there. Looks like Andrew just missed a gear, and that happens. And for whatever reason, in this car, when you miss a gear, really becomes a pain in the backside to get back into gear. On that one. That was my bad. Is that guy still in session? Is he still in session? He is not still in session. Yeah, we kind of came over into him. Probably not as excessively as what it looked like in that sense because of the different racing lines through there, but we were coming from so far out that he would have expected us to stay that far out, so that's 100% on me. GP laps. Our old pal Jacob there. I think we raced one other time too. Last ever Riley DP race. Ooh. Alrighty. Let me go ahead and switch out here, and we'll reset, reload for the Indy Fixed Carnage. Alright, have a good one, Lauren. Thanks for coming out again. Remember, same time, same place next week, and we'll be racing some other track that isn't Michigan. Can't remember what the schedule is. I'm checking right now. We'll be at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So that one will be a fun one, because that will at least be less insane. You know, iRacing, what? I'm trying to find the points, because, you know, when you have back-to-back good finishes, then all of a sudden you're like, hey, you know what, like, I kind of care about the points. You know, we started off the first 2 weeks with an average 4.5 finishing position in the old SoF races. I'm like, maybe we should actually care about this now, you know, like, we're... Just kidding, I don't care about it. Although I did lose 17 iRating in that Formula V race, which I'm disappointed about. But gonna run an IMSA race this week. Probably the least likely combo, and it somehow isn't god awful. You have piqued my interest. The answer is probably no, because I probably just won't have the time, but now I gotta know. I has got to know. Kansas Speedway road course. You really think I'm gonna race at Kansas Speedway road course? Like, really? Actually, it's not that bad. Points are under series stats. And just a moment. I think how many races did the Kansas Speedway Roval have? Because I know they just built it and absolutely no one ever asked for it, because why would you want that? And then the Grand Am ALMS merger happened all at the same time. And so it was like, well, we definitely don't need a race at this ridiculously dumb track that really has no business being on the calendar, but is because racing politics. Where is iRacing? I am an old man. I hate your user interface. Just thought you should know. Just thought you should know. Yeah, I'm not finding it unless it's one of those things that you had to be in. Sweet mother. Okay, I can't find it in the new user interface, which makes me think maybe it's just one of those things that you have to go through the website. But I just checked the series results for the Indy Fixed. How many cautions do y'all think the bottom split had? Bottom split with a 829 strength of field. So go ahead and leave your comment on that one. Because I know the answer. I will give you the answer. But first you got to go ahead and make a guess, just for extra shenaniganry. Because it's actually quite impressive. man's out here with Dude Really as a quick bind. That's what I'd go with. Okay, some of you guys are being unrealistic. You got to remember the race is 60 laps long, and a caution does take 2-3 laps. So having 21 cautions is not even possible. Like, you just couldn't actually do that. But the answer is 10. 10 cautions in an actual iRacing race.
Car stopped ahead.
That'd be 1 caution every 6th lap, which, given that half of those laps are going to be under yellow, that takes
Slow
some
car
doing.
up high. Go high. Go high. Go high.
Casually,
Slow car down low.
like
Go
maybe
high.
this is why there was 10 cautions in the bottom split. I don't know. Overlay is on. Oh, sorry. Alright, we good? Good? I think we're good. Sorry guys. Y'all just missed it. I'm so disappointed. So I'm gonna have to go back now, because you guys have to see what just happened when I was just casually just making fun of bottom split shenanigans. Yeah, unfortunately my preview window for OBS is like stuck behind my iRacing window now, which wasn't a problem the other day, and So yeah, just casually just casually chit-chatting, cruising along, just, you know, yeah, y'all saw that, just 0 lift, no care in the world. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go right through the middle. Let's do that. Just practice things. I will say that's one of the fun parts about practice sessions in this car on tracks like these, because they're absolute wreck fests, because no one cares, because why do you really need to practice? Like, smash gas, turn left. It's pretty much how it works. Doing actual laps in a race is so entirely different than doing laps in a practice session by yourself that it's irrelevant. So you end up with these ridiculous wrecks, and then you get to try and pick your way through them, and just like, yeah, well, let's see what happens. Own them reflexes. Yeah, those open oval practice if not for wreck avoidance. Exactly. Wreck avoidance is part of oval racing, and therefore, great environment to practice it. That's why it's called practice. You practice wreck avoidance. Most sessions you practice, like, you know, racing and stuff, but, you know, as we discovered in the first race of the night, wreck avoidance is 75-80% of the battle. So again, just in case you're new here, maybe you just joined this stream, I got the little timer down there. It's relative to my time, not that it particularly matters in the grand scheme of things. So when we hit 9:15, we'll actually join the race session. Right now we're just in a practice session. Absolutely nothing matters here in practice. It's all for giggles. Race should be going up in about 10 minutes. So, unfortunately, you joined this at an extra boring part, even for one of my streams. And you did miss a heck of a lot of salt in the first Indy fixed race of the night.
Slow car down low.
You aren't able to remove the filler in the middle like F1. You can't do that on any of the cars in iRacing, and this is the only car in iRacing that has a halo right now. Aero screen, but same semantics. But if you're talking about like in the Codemasters F1 games, no, you don't have the option to turn it off. But I run with it turned on even in the one Codemasters F1 game I have, and I don't find it all that distracting at all. So even if I could turn it off, I would still leave it on, just because it doesn't make a lick of difference. Honestly, you spend so little time looking directly at the middle that it kind of doesn't really make most sense to worry about it all that much. It feels more distracting than what it actually is what I'm saying.
Inside.
Oh, stuck.
Keep high. Clear.
VR is nice with a halo. Yeah, VR is really cool with it. Because then you actually... It's one of those things where if you don't actually think about it and think it through from like a real world perspective, which is one of the cool things with VR, because you don't ever really think about it as a sim racer. Like there's so many things where they just don't make sense. For example, like the Lotus 49, for example, famously has the steering wheel pretty substantially off-center. And on a 2D screen, in a standard perspective, it's just like, why did they just put the steering wheel off-center? That's stupid. You know, the Dallara LMP2 P217, you know, it's, you sit in the car slightly shifted over to the right. On a regular screen, it feels really weird and disorienting in the sense that it triggers all of the OCD. But then when you race it in VR, you see that the space is a certain space, a certain amount of volume in the cockpit, and that's why it's the way that it is. And it makes a heck of a lot more sense.
Inside. Keep high. Still there at the bottom. Clear inside.
Why are you running such a high line? Because running the high line is kind of what I do.
Inside.
But to be entirely honest, we did one race already. I'm guessing you probably weren't here around at that time. The high line was the way to go.
Clear.
You know, the only place where the low line was really a particular factor was towards the end of the race, when the pack just became so thin.
Clear inside.
But generally, I'm the type of person that if I can run the high line, if the high line is actually viable, I'm going to try and run up higher, just because I feel like that's where I feel more comfortable.
Car inside.
I think it's kind of one of those things where,
Clear.
you know, with oval racing, you know, I'm looking to the left side of my screen, and so I can kind of see the guy down there better
Clear
when
inside.
I'm just, you know, halfway alongside, as opposed to
Inside.
when I'm on the inside.
Go high.
Same
Car on the low
situation.
side. Clear inside.
I can't see him because he's to my right, and even if he was on my screen, I'm looking to the left side of the screen, so he's just invisible, and I just don't
Go high.
have the confidence. At least that's my theory. Does the high line save tires? No, not really. At least in my opinion. The IndyCar here and the environment that we race it in the fixed series, actually saving tires is kind of not particularly a thing, other than just keeping from burning them up. Help you solve your third in points if you care. Only 1 point behind second and 30 points behind first. Nice. Plus, when you're on the high line, you get to just flat foot it, and I'm lazy, so. Wait a minute, I'm streaming at 60 FPS? Time out here. Hold the phone. Okay, I recorded a video last night, and I recorded 60 FPS by streaming 60 or 30 FPS, usually because my ISP is terrible. But if we're in 60 FPS right now because I accidentally forgot to change it back, as long as it looks good, I might end up keeping it. 60 FPS is obviously superior, but I don't think the bitrate is there. But if the image quality looks fine on your guys' end, feel free to chime in as to how you think that looks. Because I honestly did not intend it. It's not a change I made or anything. I just don't think the bit rate is there at what I can upload to actually support 60 FPS. Because it should be in 1080, and I guess that's 60 FPS, which is how I record videos. But because within OBS, there's not different settings between when you're recording a video to our hard drive versus when you're streaming, which kind of annoys me in my scenario. But I just have to remember to change it back if I forgot. It looks good. It's 30 FPS in these things is just to the moon! Or not. Or not. We did not go to the moon. I wanted to go to the moon. Oh, we're about to go to the moon. How does the car feel over the long stint? Yeah, it does get a little bit skatey-ish. I think in general the car, since the update that they did a few seasons ago, when I guess apparently they decided, hey, let's go ahead and listen to Tony Kanaan. Maybe he knows a thing or two about these. It's definitely much more skatey, but at the same time, it's kind of... Dog! My dog decided to jump on my lap and join the stream, so... Hey, say something. Say something. Say hi. Say hi. Come on, why don't you speak? Speak! Fine. Well, she didn't want to speak. She didn't want to join the stream. Empty Barks did not want to show up today. It's kind of funny because my dog is, honestly, I kid you not, I thought this for a long while because I had never heard it. I thought my dog was a mute because she didn't bark even once until she was a year old. Oh, she just shook, so probably joined the stream there. So, yeah. And even still, she never barks. Although it was really cute because we were out on our walk this afternoon, and a fire truck went rolling by, and she did a little howling thing, and I was like, oh, it's so cute. Carl, empty bags. Didn't mean to distract you. Didn't mean to distract me, man. You didn't distract me. Doggo pics required. Yeah, I'm not. Okay, see, y'all just distracted me there, but it's practice. I don't care. I'm allowed myself to be distracted. I'm not a picture guy. You know, but I guess I probably should take a picture of the doggo. Because I gave her a haircut last week, so she's like extra.
Car inside. Still there, inside. Clear.
I imagine the dog is just a smaller cardboard box. See, this is why I can never do a face reveal. Because if I do a face reveal, then it's going to just ruin all of the fun that you can have with choosing to believe that instead of being a human, I am a sentient container playing racing video games on the internet. I think that's a lot more interesting than just, oh hey, here's one of the 7.5 billion humans on the planet.
You've got about 5 laps of fuel.
Your mileage may vary.
Green, green, green. Okay, here comes your first time lap.
Wind it all the way up here in that second lap. Not like qualifying matters. There's going to be 82 cautions. It's just a question of are we in one or not. All right, money lap, boys.
One more lap. You've got about 2 laps of fuel. You have about 1 lap of
Mash
fuel
the
left.
weight jacker because I think it makes a difference, but it doesn't. But it does. Maybe it does, but maybe it doesn't. Probably doesn't at Michigan. But I saw it on TV and it looks really cool. And it makes sense.
There's the flag. It's over.
A negative 20. Yeah, she's a bit more stable. A bit more stable. Sim racing VTuber. You know, honestly, along those same lines, I don't know what program it is. There's a like one of the guys I watch on YouTube here, because I honestly don't watch like much that is relevant to gaming at all. But I'm a big fan of Ralphie Dude, and he's got that cat for his camera thing going on. It just cracks me up. It's just, oh man. It's just like, you know what? If I'm gonna do a face cam thing ever, that's how I'm doing it, because that's a lot more interesting than just seeing someone green screen down in the corner. Because where's the fun in that? Yeah, I should probably look into that app at some point just for hilarity. See if I can actually make a guy who is like a dude with a cardboard box on his head and just there we go. All right. Andrew, no, I don't watch Jimmy at all anymore. I don't have a problem with him. I don't know. I only say that because I saw that apparently there was a lot of people butthurt over Automobilista 2 and his opinions on that. So that's like all I know as to what he's even like really up to anymore, besides like kind of the way he's moved and his channel's exploded and all that stuff. But like I said, anymore I really just don't watch anything on the YouTube in terms of like sim racing. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where when you do it yourself, I don't find as much interest in watching it. And just in general, gaming as a whole for me, kind of at that stage of my life where I'm watching videos of people calling into the Dave Ramsey show and all their financial mistakes and how they're just totally backwards. And I'm just like, wow, you done goofed up. You should probably fix that. Not even joking. That's literally how I spend way too much time in my day. It's kind of sad, actually, but gotta stay on target, gotta stay focused, committed to the goal. If EB ever got a cat, you couldn't be empty box anymore. You'd be cat box. Hey, if I fits, I sits. You know, that's probably why I'm not a cat person. Never really thought about it, but that actually makes tons of good sense. Too mainstream for your taste? No, I mean it's nothing to do with. It's nothing to do with anything. It's just a matter of the time I do have. It just like I'd either play the game or alternatively, if I'm just like sitting there watching YouTube. Like honestly, I'm probably either watching, financial stuff, or alternatively, I'm watching people build scale models because I'm getting into that hobby and seeing all these different techniques. It's really inspiring because, I mean, you go watch that Plasmo guy. All right, Plasmo is like a freaking god, and you just watch it and you're like, wow, I want to do that. I want to get that good because that is impressive. That is amazing. Rocket plane. What kind of scale models? Cars? No, I am an airplane guy. I got a C7R scale model because I actually last year started doing scale modeling, just kind of looking for another hobby, something to get into. So I kind of started picking this up over the last year or so, and I built a car, C7R model that is out there, and I still haven't painted the body or put the decals on it because, quite frankly, I'm absolutely terrified. Because it's one thing with an airplane, but with a car that's supposed to be all nice, neat, and shiny and everything, I just don't feel like I'm anywhere close to being able to finish the product to the level that I want to be able to finish the product. So it's like, don't want to do that quite yet, and I don't feel comfortable with them at all.
Closed. Pit road is closed. Catch start 21.
And plus, honestly, even though you would look at my streaming and the fact that it's all sim racing and all that stuff, and obviously quite into cars and racing, airplanes are kind of more where it's at for me. This is just more fun than flight sim stuff, but I mean, if the way I see it and why I've never really made an effort to go racing in the real world, besides just being a large fat man that needs to lose weight but has no motivation to, is if I were to do something that's going to cost a stupid amount of money, there is a 100% chance I'm going to go learn to fly a plane and do that, because that is life goals. And that is like above
Get ready, going
and
green.
beyond. Like, oh hey, let's go get a Formula V or a spec racer and go SCCA racing. Because while that's cool and awesome, it's just a totally different scenario for me
Green, green, green.
on the list. Where in the Midwest are you?
Inside.
Iowa. Well, the
Still inside.
place with corn.
Clear inside. Inside. Keep high.
Alrighty, what are we doing? What are we doing? I just knew there was a bunch of cars down there on the left side, and at some point had to work itself out. Fortunately, worked itself out apparently surprisingly well compared to what it looked like it was going to sort itself out as.
Outside. Still there, hold your line. Keep low. Go low.
Ah, we pushed up into him.
Clear.
Just don't like that low line. And plus, I'll also say I hate understeer, although iRacing does not like oversteer. And I feel like when I run the low line, I am much more prone to just end up dump trucking the snot out of it, which is a problem I always have with any car, because I'm just not a very good driver, to be perfectly honest. On the high line, I just feel like I have a better balance on the car, and I'm in more control.
Stay high. Stay high.
But kind of going back, because I see someone's talking about PMDG, the DC6 that they released. You know, honestly, for some reason, I've just never gotten into flight simulators to the same degree as sim racing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a VKB joystick and a CH throttle because I'm waiting for VKB to release their throttle. Like, so I got good equipment. I do spend time with it, but it just doesn't have the same fun factor to it because so much of it is like flipping switches, and outside of DCS and VR just doesn't work. But VR makes flight sims so much better. I mean, the F-16 in VR, besides the fact that with an Oculus Rift you can't read anything, but it is like flying on a magic carpet, and it is just so fantastic. Like, even just flying the thing around because of the visibility that you have with that bubble canopy, it is definitely 100% one of the best things you can do in VR.
Car inside.
Alright, so far this race looks a lot
Still
more
there at the
calm
bottom. Clear inside.
than what last race was. Everyone's just kind of chilling on the high line. I like to get past this guy because I think he's just kind of...
Inside. Clear.
This guy, let's start with speed. I think he's binding it up too much. A few hundred times. Yeah, that guy's just run too low the line. He's scrubbing too hard.
Still inside. Clear. Car inside. Still inside. Clear.
High line OP! You'll love to see it.
Inside. Stay high. Clear.
Just chilling. Is this race? I guess I should mention it at the start of every race. It's like a regular video, but this race will require a pit stop. Won't be able to make it on field. So that will become an issue at some point. Oh no, oh no. Woo. Lifted out of that one because I saw, oh no, here comes the push.
Stay high.
Here comes the push. It's over.
Clear.
You're going to eat it right in front of us. Too big of a run. Okay.
Keep low. Outside clear.
Car slide job. We're supposed to see what we can get. Yeah, give us that draft. Come on.
You're up
Come on
top,
up here.
3 wide.
It's a draft.
You're in the top 10. Inside, 2 wide. Keep high. Still there, hold your line.
She feels real good up top there. She is
Clear.
hooked. The line is definitely the way to go here. At least from the pack. Hero running the top group. Give that man a round of applause. Going.
Outside. Clear high. Caution, yellow flag. Line up, single file. Pit road is closed right now.
Alrighty. That was a good little stint. It was a good stint. Everything went well. The racing was pretty sane. This is kind of what I expected to see in the first race. But
Catch start 10, car.
obviously we didn't. Part of me wishes IndyCar still raced at Michigan. Every part of you should be wishing that IndyCar still raced at Michigan. I mean, I don't care if you're an oval hater. You should like IndyCars on a 2-mile oval. Like, that should just be a thing that, as a race car fan, you have to automatically, intrinsically appreciate and understand and want for other people who maybe are fans of that. You know, for example, I'm not a huge NASCAR guy, but you know what? Short tracks,
Pit road's open.
NASCAR deserves more short tracks. NASCAR needs more short tracks. The fans will tell you NASCAR needs more short tracks. And I want that for them, because you know what? It's good for them, and plus, it's much more enjoyable to watch, to be entirely honest. But, yeah, I really wish IndyCar still raced here at Michigan as well as Fontana. What was that kart track? That was an airport runway. That place was awesome. That would be Burke Lakefront in Cleveland, which was a fantastic track. That's one of those tracks that I'm pretty sure if you go back in time, I'm just going to kind of follow the pack here. If you go back in time and had no context or anything, like when that race was first done, okay, this is your track layout. This is going to be stupid. Like, you're racing around airport runways that are 8 miles wide. You know, like, it's flat as a pancake. This isn't going to be a good track. This is just going to be on the calendar for 2 years and then it's done. And it's like, no, this is amazing. This is a great track. Everybody wants it back, but
They want you in single file. Letter 14, carbide. You had the position when the yellow
I have a
flag
feeling
came
that he's
out.
going to go like rolling by after this stripe. I have a feeling Cleveland will eventually make a comeback because so many people want it to happen because it was so fantastic and just it worked much better than you possibly ever think it should. That'll be one of those situations like Circuit of the Americas where Eddie Gossage was able to hold IndyCar hostage for so long that we just didn't have a race at Circuit of the Americas, even though it was an obvious fit and obviously should have happened years in advance, but still disappointed that that's not really a thing now. Because that was the one time Circuit of the Americas was truly exciting with road racing, race cars. I mean, those guys were just flinging around. There's the clip of Rossi going through that, what is it, turn 16 or whatever, and he's turning left to go through a right-hand corner the whole way. This is like, yes, that's what I want to see. I want to see drivers out there on edge. And then
Past the 22
No more.
car.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Burke Lakefront would love to have it back. They need the cash flow. You know, there was a few years ago, it looked like it might actually kind of happen. Because I think it was... There was even supposedly a sponsor that was kind of, sort of, maybe involved. I think it was going to be... For some reason, I want to say it was like Sherwin-Williams. Which I think it probably ended up getting squashed because of PPG and all that stuff. Plus Mid-Ohio. And honestly, I don't know if that was actually a thing or just kind of the fan base speculating and maybe things just getting too far ahead. But I mean, I think if you had a race at Cleveland, it would draw people. The problem is with IndyCar the way it is right now, Mid-Ohio rightfully is going to say, hey, you know, we don't want this race that's just a few hours away, essentially, cannibalizing our ticket sales, when I think really where IndyCar is right now, a large chunk of that fan base probably would actually go to both races, because
ready, going
the people
green.
that are left over as IndyCar fans, even still with the series growing, are, you know, committed fans.
The pace car is in.
You know, they're the type of people that are going to find a way to go to two
Green.
races in a year. Plus, they offer two entirely different experiences. You don't see people going 8 wide into turn 1 at Mid-Ohio. Right? It's just not the thing.
Car
No,
inside.
stay down there. Stay down there.
Still there, hold your line. Clear inside.
But yeah, I would absolutely love to have Cleveland come back. Cleveland, Michigan, Fontana. You know, people will say Vancouver. Vancouver, because of the whole,
You're in the
they
top 10.
bulldozed all the area more or less and redid it. It's never coming back. Plus, from what I understand, the political situation within Portland, same difference, I guess, within Vancouver is having a race with Indy cars is not a thing that's going to happen. There's a reason why Formula V or Formula E is going there, because the reasons. Which, hey, it is what it is, whatever. And then bring back Iowa, of course. That's the other big one. I would really like to see a race at Richmond, even if I do think it would have been not so great. Like, honestly, IndyCar's really close to putting together a very solid calendar, but I don't think it'll happen as quickly as we'd like. And then we need to go back to Surfer's Paradise. Indy's still on at Homestead. No, Indy does not run at Homestead, actually. Although there did seem to be, at least earlier on this season, kind of some rumblings that it might be a track that is looking to join the calendar. Because IndyCar is trying to add more ovals. It's just a matter of finding the right ovals.
Still there, inside. Clear inside.
That are actually going to be able to draw people with the product. For example, not Phoenix. And honestly, I do think the current version of Homestead would actually really suit these cars pretty well. I think it'd be a much better race than Texas. Just god-awful. Just saying. My hatred for Texas knows no bounds. The track, not the state. I have a problem with the state. Work up here on the high side.
Inside. Clear inside. Inside.
Oh no, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Inside.
Big checkup.
Car inside.
That was a shame because we could have passed
Still there, hold your line.
2 cars
Clear.
in that one corner. Now this blue car's going to kind of drift up in there.
Car inside. Stay high. Clear inside.
Put that weight jacker up a little bit. Rear up a bit.
Inside. Stay high to the car on the low side. Clear inside.
Down there.
Inside. Clear. Car inside.
Here comes Daredevil.
Still there, hold your line. Still there. Clear.
Quite surprised he didn't just
Car inside. You're up top.
massively
3 wide.
murderize
Two wide.
someone 3/4 of the way through the corner there, because as deep as he went in,
Clear.
I thought that was sure as could be just
Outside.
picking carbon out of the fence.
Still there, hold your line. Still there, hold your line. Still there, hold your line.
Hey, slipstream! I need the slipstream!
Go low. Clear.
See, if you're gonna shade, that's the way you do it. It was early in advance. This isn't last minute.
Car
It's like,
inside.
oh yeah, we're gonna just keep driving right here, and then I'm just gonna
Still there,
slam the
hold
door
the
right in your face.
Still there. Clear inside. Car inside. Still there, inside. Clear inside.
That's some good quality racing.
Inside. Still inside.
Really likes diving it on into that low line.
Clear inside.
So, I mean, that's perfectly fine.
Inside.
Dirty air me.
Stay high with the car on the low side. Still inside. Clear. Inside. Still there, inside. Clear inside.
Find a way past this guy here. Fortunately, he's running the same line as we are.
Clear. Outside. Clear up top.
Woo! Halfway. Let's turn the shed on. This one's gonna fit.
Coming up on halfway here.
Ooh.
Inside. Stay high with the car on the low side. Still there at the bottom. Clear inside.
Yeah, I wonder why is this guy so slow?
Stay high with the car
Is
on
he
the
in
low
a fuel
side.
map? Is he?
Clear inside. Car inside.
He clearly's got the same game plan I do, which is don't give up the high line.
Keep high. Clear inside.
feel like that's not necessarily a bad game plan. Although, you know what, we're going to go ahead and
Caution, yellow flag. They want single
get
file.
screwed over by the
Pit
yellow
road
flag,
is closed
just
right
as
now.
I was going to decide to try and go the low side now that he's kind of getting squeezed up there.
Guess it screws over your strategy then. Now you're way back.
Yeah,
Catch that one, car.
He was off strategy. He was running
Oh,
something.
I look really stupid. I'm sorry, guys.
That would explain why he was so mysteriously slow.
Pit road's open.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and try and catch up some comments here. We are going to come on down, make a pit stop.
Not bad, Stephen. Not bad.
Catch that one, car.
I'm definitely much more pleased with the quality of racing going on here in this race. What are we debating here? Need to put Pikes Peak back on the IndyCar schedule. You know what? Pikes Peak on the IndyCar schedule, yeah, let's make that a thing again.
yeah, Bruno, it worked.
And you know what? At the same time, let's go ahead and run IndyCars at the Chili Bowl. Like, let's do it. Dudes acquired? Oh, hey, I'm just driving right through a guy. Fairness, there's no driver in that car. He shouldn't be on the road.
Okay, punch it.
Okay, hear me out. IndyCar can't go to Iowa Speedway anymore because Iowa Speedway is like not a thing, basically, at this stage.
They want
So,
you in single file.
because the teams already know the way between Indianapolis and I-80 through Iowa, the whole thing, let's just go ahead and have them drive, 70 miles further south, probably not even that, of Newton, send them to Knoxville. Let's do it. Like, that would be something. Like, I don't know how much work would need to be done to make an IndyCar work on dirt. Like, how unrealistic is this idea? I mean, can we put different, different wishbones on the car, jack up the suspension, and will we be more or less good at that point? Or are we talking full on wholesale, design a whole new car? Is Iowa the shortest lived speedway? When was it built? Around 08? Yeah, somewhere thereabouts. But I think it was actually designed earlier than that, but it kind of took a while to actually start building it, if I remember correctly. Like, there was some hang-up or something like that where pulling the funding actually through. But yeah, I don't know, apparently, I guess, I saw a tweet the other day, last week during the Belle Isle race, where apparently someone had a news story that indicated that, I think it was Bobby Rahal and his group of people and Roger Penske were going to try and, like, save Iowa Speedway, potentially, which I honestly... I would love to see it happen because Iowa Speedway, regardless of being in Iowa, is basically my favorite of the oval tracks just because it is so unique and you can actually race an IndyCar there, even though it seems positively crazy. But it's very clear, as someone who's been there several times and is familiar with the area, otherwise known as Iowa, why it doesn't work and why it never did work, because short of NASCAR plopping a cup race there, it was just never going to be able to be financially viable. You can't have a facility like that and then
The pace car is in.
have 30,000 capacity that you
Green
can't
flag,
even
green
fill
flag.
because you're drawing people from 2, 3, 4 hours away, just as like your regular people, not your people properly making a journey to it. Especially for an oval race, where you don't have the same support series. I don't know. It makes me sad. It might be running a little bit too high. It might have gotten a little carried away. Oh, so the story was Penske was going to buy Iowa Speedway, and then the offer to buy IMS popped up, in which case, smart move. There's a reason why he's a billionaire. Although I will say, watching the Indy 500 this year, I was kind of slightly rooting against Elio, because had he not won a race, I would have been there for his final career victory. And I'm not really a huge fan of him. You know, he's not my dude, but there's no denying that the crowd loves him. You know, see him climb the fence when we all kind of thought, you know, he probably isn't necessarily going to get the same opportunities to win more races in the future. It was pretty nifty. It was pretty cool. It's like, hey, I was there. It's a great moment.
Outside.
We need to pass this guy. Why are we going slow?
Go low.
Why did we lose the path?
Clear.
Come on. What are we doing here? Is this racing or ping pong? I'm surprised there's so many guys around the low line. Now don't worry, guys. If you're kind of getting a little freaked out that, hey, you know, we're not really in the mix here. See the way they're racing. We'll catch up to them. We'll get back into the battle path. Alright, there's no need to be in a hurry. Even if there is only 18 laps to go. Now everyone's running the highway. Must have hurt them. Hey, that guy behind us is saying we should be running the high line. Maybe he knows something. Even though he's behind us. Remember, always listen to the guy in last place on how to drive. Oh, we got driven going on. Oh goodness, it's about to uncork, guys. I don't get a good feeling about the way this pack is looking right now. You ever watch the movie Twister? Now they like kind of look at the sky and they're like, oh, you know, it's going to be a big one. Yeah, that's basically what's going on here.
Inside. Clear. Car inside.
Got some jockeying, we got some swerving, cutting, making moves.
Keep high. Clear.
4 wide. We got 4 wide. Just want to point that out. Want to point that out going on up there. That's pretty impressive. We'd love to see it. 3 wide. 3 wide. Move your feet. Lose your seat.
Hold your line.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Just making a hole. Just making a hole.
Stay high.
All right.
On the low side.
Nothing to see
You're in
here.
the top 10. You're up top 3 wide.
Oh, we're still
Right
3
side,
wide.
2 wide.
Holy
Clear inside.
Jeebus. Holy mackerel. You know, one of my favorite things to do, one of the reasons I really enjoy this stuff, is because you get to do the whole shark thing. So I feel like a lot of people probably just rate me as a kind of passive driver, not very aggressive, but yet
Car
just
inside.
like 4 wide on the outside, middle of the corner,
Still
like,
there,
okay,
hold
yeah,
your
let's
line.
go ahead and
You're
send
up
it.
top 3 wide. Hold your line.
No!
Inside, 2 wide. Clear inside.
Yeah, Mr. Passive over here just sailing it in 3 wide, yep. Yep, not an aggressive driver here.
Inside.
Not at all.
Still there, hold your line.
Not at all.
Keep high.
It's like, no, just waiting for the right moment. Just waiting
Clear.
for the right moment.
Inside. Still inside. Still there. Still there, inside. Clear.
No, you don't.
Still there, hold your line. Clear inside. Inside. Keep high.
Well,
You're up top
that's
3 wide. Right side, 2 wide.
that's some cheek punching right there.
Stay high, there's a car on the low side. Stay high. Clear. Inside. Keep high. Got 10 laps to go. You're in 5th. Stay high. Clear.
Some jacker.
Inside. Keep high. Clear inside. Inside. Still there at the bottom.
Oh God, I love it. I love it.
Still there, hold your line.
I love it.
Clear. Car inside. Still there, hold your line.
I love it.
Still there, hold
I don't
your
know
line.
what's going on in chat, but I hope y'all are loving this because this is crazy, man.
Still there. Get back in 5th. Clear inside.
This is crazy racing.
Inside. Keep high. Still there. Still there. Clear.
You don't want the middle. You don't want the inside.
Inside.
No!
Middle, 3 wide. You're in the middle, 3 wide. You're in the middle, 3 wide. Clear, 2 wide. You're in the middle, 3
Ah!
wide. Clear, 2 wide. Still there, hold your line.
All right, boys, just fling it in, not knowing what's wrong. Hoping the car's in one piece. Hope you still got downforce.
Car outside. Go low. Clear outside if you want it. You're in
yeah,
4th position.
Oh boy. Oh boy. We are getting our money's worth today here, boys.
Car inside.
Oh, she's damaged. She ain't got no
Still there.
speed.
Still there. Clear.
She's got no speed. She's got no suck.
You've got 5 laps to go. Car inside. The next car's the leader.
Here
Stay
comes
high.
Daredevil.
Clear.
Oh boy.
Car
Yeah,
inside.
you're gonna need to stay up higher if you want to stop me from getting to the high line there, guy.
Still there. Right side. 2 wide. Clear.
If you want to stop me from getting to the high line, you're gonna need to be.
Now in third.
There ain't gonna
Inside.
be no space
You're
between
up
me and
top,
the
3
wall.
wide. Inside. 2 wide. Clear. Inside. Clear inside. Outside. Still there. Clear up top.
Back in here. I tell you, 2 milers are the best milers. I just think we might just have just a little bit of damage slowing us down. The car's still driving fine enough. Two to go.
2 left to go. 2 to go.
How to play it, how to play it.
Inside. Still there. Inside. Clear.
Up on the jacker. Big run, big run, big run.
White flag this time.
She just doesn't have to suck.
Outside. Cheat right. Outside clear.
Yeah. Had to go low line there because if we went to the high line, we would have ended up fourth. At least if we go to the low line, we have a chance.
There's the flag.
You know, maybe it
It's
just
over.
washes up a little bit and scrapey, and then they
Solid work.
eat themselves out of the ballpark. That was a good race, then.
I'm right. That measuring one has a lot of grip. Learned that in the Open.
Good racing.
Good job, Robert.
I always hate when
everybody else up there too. That was awesome racing. Jack, good job. Matt.
Good racing, guys. Keeping that clean. Like, see, that's how it works. Did you see that people were actually giving each other room and making their moves in advance to the point where they weren't just cutting people off? I mean, so it's just so much cleaner. I mean, even that incident that we ended up having at the end, where I think it was just a case of just asking for so much, and I don't think it was anything particularly malicious or stupid, but I'm really impressed with this guy back here, how he was able to go ahead and drive that in on the low side, because I couldn't do that. I mean, realistically, all concerned with where we were with 10 laps to go and to finish fourth, especially considering how we had an incident, I'm not too displeased. I can't remember if this is before or after Because I want to go back and see that move where I made it up past 4 wide. At least I think it's 4 wide. Just like, oh hey, there's a lane here. Yeah, I just... Someone lost a part. But I think that was just squabbling. Yeah, I mean... I'm guessing... Oh, maybe. Maybe that's not what they're talking about, but... I mean, the leader just comes down... Kind of a little bit late. And I think at that point, this purple guy is probably committed to going through the corner whenever he was going to go through the corner. You know, lifting at whatever point he was going to lift at. So this happened, and it kind of like, oh, snap. You know, take some of your mental brain power away, and he just kind of drifts further up the track into the 15 here. And 15's kind of trying to run his line, keep the purple guy down there, and they just kind of squabble together. Just kind of one of those racing incidents where you're racing this close. I mean, it's amazing that stuff like this doesn't happen every lap. So, let's see here. Just gotta see. Let's watch it from this guy's perspective. You know, one thing I will say, I don't know what's going on with my car. But I feel like ever since the new build, my car just kind of looks like a jittery mess in the replay camera. But I haven't had anyone like, hey, dude, your connection is just totally garbage. And I feel like if I was jittering around that much in the race, someone would say, hey, dude, like, go fix your connection, and rightfully so. All right, now we got to find where we just full on just YOLO'd it on the outside. Sir, I tell you what, man, there's nothing that makes me happier in Indy fixing than when you just full on just rip the high line around people. It's just like, surprise. I don't know if that was the lap. That's got to be the lap, though. Or was it? Oh my goodness, there's just so much action in this race. A lot of people have it. They know about that bug. It's okay. So apparently, I'm not the only one with that. So alrighty, we'll go ahead and watch these few laps here because they. There's some spectacular racing. Although I will also say, if this happened in the real world, I'd be just turning my TV off and being like, that's not what I'm tuning in for. It's Fontana 2015 all over again. I'm amazed the leader was able to keep it that low and stay in front. It's always really hard to pass the leader in these cars because you don't have any slipstream when you go to pass the leader, which is kind of why with 2 to go, I kind of backed up a little bit intentionally to try and get a bigger run. Okay, so you know what? That didn't look nearly as impressive from the trackside camera as I felt it was. Because sending that up there just felt like we're about 8 wide, got to be at least, you know. It's a fish story type scenario. You had roll hoop damage at the end. I mean, presumably after the wreck, because I didn't hit anything else. You know, the amazing thing is, though, this is kind of, I think, the second strength of field split, where it's generally not quite as strong as the first one that we did today, but still really good drivers in general. That first race, they were swapping positions back and forth at the end, Whereas this one, the guy in the Marcus Ericsson car was able to just hold it down on the white line, which is kind of partly what I thought would happen in general, just because of the fact that you do lose the slipstream when you go to pass, so the high line is less powerful. Ketchup and mustard guy almost ran in the back of the blue and black guy down the low side. Just able to get that car in so deep. Oh, man. This is some full-on jousting going on here. I feel like we're basically just going to watch the whole race all over again. Which we probably don't need to do because we watched it. And we raced it, but I mean, you can't ask for much better racing than that. I mean, 3 wide, 3 corners, high line, low line, middle line. All right, we're gonna go ahead and check out the carnage report here. Just trying to find a camera here. Blimp is what we want. Oh man, I just screwed it up. Guys, you think I maybe have done this at timer 12, but I still suck at this. Oh no. That guy's car says VU? What? Might want to update paint guy, just in case you see this. What in the world does this guy's car say? I must be missing something, or like maybe that's just like his team name or something. Like I don't know what this is, but I'm obviously intrigued by this car that just says VU, or is it supposed to say Voodoo? I think it says Voodoo. Yeah, it says Voodoo. Now it makes sense. I understand it. Hey, I is smart. Let's see what happened here. Oh, just got his line taken away. One of those moments of you can't do that. Anyways. Hey man, if you want to learn to fly gliders, all out fun and cheaper than powered airplanes. I was going to mention earlier, but then the race started. Yeah, there's only one problem with that. I live in Iowa. I don't think we can have gliders here because the state is very flat, and I just don't think gliders work here. I've literally have never seen a glider here. Although I will say I do get jealous of the guys flying them in videos because it just looks like the most absolutely relaxing thing around. Although when I've tried it in Flight Simulator, it's kind of like terrifying because you're like, you know, when I fall out of the sky, there ain't no going back up there. I better have a plan for this. Well, where's the other caution? Oh, there's the other caution. It was the VU car again. Guess I might have had a... Sure you can, just use thermal lift, thermal throttle gliders in flatland. Yeah, I know about thermals and convection heating or whatever it is, and like that's how they are able to stay in the air for like hours on hours, and they race the things cross country, which is oddly like interesting. and yet somehow incredibly dull at the same time. Kind of probably like yacht racing, like America's Cup stuff, where I mean it's fascinating, but it's also like crazy. But yeah, I don't honestly, and plus that seems like one of those things where if you were to actually fly a glider in Iowa, like, yeah, you might be able to do it, you know, every now and then, but you'd be so dependent on getting the weather that you can actually do it, that you would have so little flight time to actually fly. But, Ford guy, Voodoo is the new V8 engine from Ford. Voodoo V8 replacing the Coyote. Isn't the Voodoo the engine in the GT500? If I remember correctly. In which case, yeah, it's not replacing the Coyote. Ford is not about to stick that thing in every single Mustang GT. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that's going to be the end of the stream. Thank you all for coming out. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Same time, same place next week. We'll be racing at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, so this type of racing will be replaced with something much more sane and rational, where we're going to be flinging it on in the corners, doing about 50 miles an hour less. But, yeah. Voodoo is the GT350 engine. Well, then you know what? They should, because the GT350 engine, like, makes me happy, because I want a GT350. Just saying. It's kind of funny, actually, along the same note. So apparently the GT350 engine is like kind of sort of problematic. It's got some issues. The Z06, C6 Z06, kind of sort of a little problematic. You know, they kind of have their niggles to them that are things that need to be taken care of. And it's like, why do my two favorite American cars have engine problems? Why does that work that way? But anyways, yeah, again, Indy Fix next week, same time, same place, New Hampshire Motor Speedway Oval, so entirely different type of racing. Be streaming again this weekend, and we'll be doing Formula V, the Weekend Warrior Series again, the league race at Olton Park Foster's, which we did earlier on today, but it'll be an entirely different environment, and hopefully it goes much better in that environment. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. All right, bye.